Hi, I'm Felice Regina. I'm a fabric and pattern designer, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute moon bunny bag using some fabrics I designed. It's got applique on it and a really cute round shape and a zipper gusset that I'm going to show you how to make. So to start off, you'll trace your applique template onto some paperback fusible web, and you can cut it out with scissors. And then I've cut out my exterior lining fabric and some stabilizer made of foam and some interfacing, all from this round pattern. And I'm going to fuse my applique onto the background piece. Then I'm going to show you how to secure it with some satin stitching. And you don't have to secure the outer edge because that's all just going to be in the seam anyway. So I'm going to go over to my machine here, and I've got my machine set to a satin stitch. And I like to line up the little center mark on my foot with the edge of the applique. And start off slow, and you're just going to satin stitch over the edge of your applique. And when you get to the point here, just lift up your foot with the needle down and kind of put it so it's perpendicular, because you're just going to want to secure that little V shape. Then you can lift up your foot again, change directions, and start stitching again. And if you get off course, you can just reposition it really easily. It doesn't have to be perfect. So once you have that stitched, I'm just going to skip ahead here. You can go ahead and fuse your interfacing to the wrong side of this front piece. Then you'll take your lining and sandwich it with the exterior piece and the foam. And then you can just baste around the edge with a long basting stitch with about approximately an 1/8 inch seam allowance, and that's just going to hold all your pieces together. And you can do the same thing for the back side of the bag, which is the same except for it doesn't have any applique. Now I'm going to show you how to make this really cool zipper gusset that opens and closes super easily, and it's covered the zipper coil so it looks really neat. So to do that, I have taken the zipper gusset pieces, both the lining and the exterior pieces, and for both of them, I'll put them right sides together, and I'll stitch just a straight line with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'll press the seam open like this. And for the exterior piece, I've just got a little bit of interfacing there, and I've taken my zipper and I've placed it right side down, so the zipper pull is actually against that seam. And I'm lining up the zipper coil with the seam as best I can, and I've just stitched a basting stitch on either side of the zipper tape really close to the edge to hold it in place. So now I'm going to take the lining and I'm going to place it so they're wrong sides together. And I'm lining that basted seam up with the zipper coil, and I'm trying to align them on all sides. I'm just going to pin in a few places to keep it in place. And you're trying to line up your raw edges as well. Now we can go back over to our machine, and we're just going to stitch just inside this basted line on either side to secure all the layers. And I'm going to take my seam ripper with me because sometimes the zipper pull might get in the way and we might have to open up the seam a little bit to work with it. So I'm going to come back over to the machine, and I'm going to set my machine to a straight stitch this time. And it doesn't really matter which side you start on. It's up to you. I usually do it with the exterior side up so I can get at the zipper pull easily. And I'm going to switch my foot out to a zipper foot. And normally I would switch my thread color to a thread color that matches my exterior fabric, but I'm just going to use a contrasting thread so you can see. So I'm going to get it right under the edge there, and I've got my needle positioned so it'll be just a little bit inside that basted seam. And I'm going to just carefully sew. And I feel my zipper pull right in here, so I'm going to take my seam ripper and I'm going to open that a little bit, so just enough so I can grab him and push him out of the way so I don't get a bump in my seam, and continue sewing. So once we get all the way to the end, I'll just break my thread. And we have a nice neat seam there. And you'll do the same thing on the other side, and then you can take your seam ripper And this is super satisfying just to go straight down the center and open it up. And then you'll do the same thing on the opposite side. And then you'll have a nice, neat zipper gusset that covers the coil. So then we'll move on and we'll take the bottom gusset, and we'll sandwich it the same way we did with the main panel pieces and baste them. And I've taken a piece of my strap, which is just a long strip of fabric that we folded in to meet the center and fold it again. And then we'll stitch down each edge with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. And I'll take my little rectangle ring here. I'll thread him through. And then I will position him in place on the end of the bottom gusset, baste it in place on both sides. Then I can take my zipper gusset and put them right sides together with the bottom gusset and sew them together to form a loop. And I've just sewn a piece of bias tape over those exposed seams so they're not exposed anymore. So to assemble the bag, it may seem like an intimidating shape, but circular bags are actually really easy. All you have to do is take your pattern piece, and using some marking tools, we'll transfer these markings onto our pattern. And you want to make sure you're doing it with your bunny right side up, otherwise he'll be upside down. So I'm just going to mark a line here, and I'm going to use a water-soluble marker on the other side since the white will probably be harder to see. So then I'll take my gusset piece, I'll flip it inside out, and I'm going to line up this seam with that marking I just made. And I'm going to clip them there. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. And then I can clip around, just kind of easing the shape. And clip around as much as you need. There's never too many points you can have. The more you clip, the easier it'll be. And then you just stitch all the way in a circle with your seam allowance. And make sure you open your zipper up at this point once you have your front piece attached, because when you attach your back piece, it'll be stuck in there if it's closed. And all you have to do then is turn your bag right side out and attach your strap, and you have a really cute moon bunny bag. I hope you enjoyed how to make this bag and try your own applique patterns on them as well.